corn seeding area, with how to cultivate the land with a tractor, setting the sequence of dike wall with a distance of 70 x 17 cm. Cultivate the ground, adjust the state of the ground. There are many factors about the state of the condition and structure of the soil. The soil though, so do farmers cultivate the soil and gives only the disposal of water, because the usual tools or tractors are not strong enough to destroy the soil on the ground. The seeds of corn, in various ways, among others, using automatic, semi-automatic, and manual or traditional. It's all set up with the state of the land that's sticky, clay, or sandy, and the processing of land or with no land to cultivate. Corn age 10 to age 15 days after planting, then do the giving of fertilizers, i.e. 70% of the nitrogen and calcium 30%, so that the growth of the generative can grow to full potential. This is done most of the farmers, because they have experienced caring for plants corn plants. At the age of this, farmers began to apply insecticides and weed cleanup. Corn plants aged 23 to 30 days after planting, given the fertilizer to 2, while weeding or stockpiling of corn on corn plants' roots performed at this age. 35 days of age and the granting of fertilizer to 3. This condition adjusts the state of the crops of corn. If its growth is good, then the giving of the fertilizer done 2x while the fertilizer 3 given at the age of 40 days. Corn plant. How to cope with diseases on corn plants. Pests and diseases, in addition to the pests, which are often disturbing corn plants, is a disease that is usually caused by a virus, bacteria, or boletus. The disease is often found in corn plants, among others, the foul stem of leaf blight, a disease bootleg, a foul rotten cob, stem rust, leaf spot, leaf, and mosaic virus. Attack the disease on corn plants could cause harm, even a failed harvest. Corn plant other than the image control with fungicide chemical and other pesticides. Disease control plant corn should also be done by a technical way. Control is technically able to reduce costs while reducing chemical use of pesticides, residues of chemicals at the plant. Here are some of the diseases on corn plants as well as his way of 1. Leaf blight disease caused by Helminthosporium tursicum boletus. Early symptoms of visible existence of small oval patches and elongated elliptical shaped and developed into a blight in green or brown grayish. The attack started from the old leaves and eventually spread on young. This disease causes the plants to dry out and die. Other interesting content in Fakertrick sport in 4 walk and 21 kilos Abzunman top rated dating sites for lonely guys. Yunga models after such knock reef and manner control can be done by planting resistant varieties, destroy crops terry and fixie, and spraying fungicidal active dithiocarbamate or mancozeb. 2. Stem rotten disease is caused by Rhizoctonia solani boletus. Early symptoms of visible presence of patches of reddish-colored leaves on the stem and turn into gray. Then the swelling extends, form the irregular-shaped sclerotium, further transformed into white chocolate. The attack began on the sheath leaves closest to the ground, then go to the top. Infectious control can be done with the use of resistant varieties. Planting is not too tightly, good drainage, crop plants, and spraying fungicidal active carbendazim or mancozeb. How to cope. 3. Diseases caused by this disease: Boletus paranosclerospora philippinensis, paranosclerospora mates, and as well as Boletus paranosclerospora sorghai, found only in the highlands of northern Sumatra, Barastadi, and Batu Malang, East Java. This disease attacks the young plants, between 1 to 2 weeks of HST. The symptoms of visible existence of color chlorotic runs parallel bone leaves. Parts of the upper and lower leaf surfaces there is a white flower that is clearly visible, e.g. day. As a result, growth stunted, twisted, and rolled leaves. Flowers become excessive leaf mass, establishment of tiny stunted, and even cause the cob is not formed. Attacks can occur in all parts of the plant. Control can be done by planting resistant varieties, planting crops, destroyed infected synchronously, and treatment fungicide made from active metaloxyl on the seed before planting. 4. There are 3 types of cob: foul cobs of corn plants that attack, among others: foul fusarium cob, cog diplodia, foul cob gibberella. Corn plants at age 53 up to age 59 days after planting, Do unplug the flowers on a female corn. Deselling, at this age usually varies. Adjust the type of corn itself, a factor of temperature and climate in the area. The uniformity of the corn plants is very important as it affects males and females corn synchronization, the right recommendation for separate planting. Split planting. For varieties Metahelix 8 cut on the ends of the cob of corn, is cutting, because the hair of corn, mean section of the base, not reaching the ends of the cob, covered 3 centimeters at the ends of the cob, then from that done is cutting or top cutting. On the type of this variety, the way this was done 5 days after the process of unplugging the female flowers, or deselling. In this way the silking can come out of the other end of the cob of corn powder acceptance process for the males, for the process of fertilization. If not done this way, then the charging maximum is not due to corn hair jagung, silking, did not come out and cannot be received corn powder males. So that the plant is uniform. Corn cob females out simultaneously, then watering should be done after you unplug your flowers. This is done so that extend the power receptive on female silking, and started charging 4 pounds maximum corn. This type of corn Metahelix 8 tend to dry, especially in the phases of conception, thus giving the water as much as possible at a time when the process of fertilization after deselling. The age of the corn 70 to 80 days after planting. Pollination process is completed. If the process of pollination is successful, then it will be a maximum content of corn cob. Of all this process, the most important is setting the distance of time cropping, planting split, fertilization and care planting mainly problems of irrigation at the time deselling. The age of the corn. Check the kernel filling corn cob females, after going through the process of pollination, at the age of 80 up to age 85 days after planting. Characters of varieties with different indeed Metahelix 8 varieties of other types, because Metahelix corn cob is relatively long, therefore the hair of corn silkening or unable to get out. Efforts should be made by cutting or cut the ends of the cob of corn, and a relatively quick Metahelix varieties out from the time of silkening period receptive, so that should the extra in the granting of watering during deselling and pollination. The varieties are not suitable in Metahelix 8 plain sandy soil, due to absorption of water in the trunk is very strong, which should be given as often as possible so that watering the ground in damp circumstances. Check the kernel filling corn cob females.
Metahelix Josh!
Harvest corn Metahelix at age 112 until the age of 120 days after planting, depending on the weather, temperatures, and climate in the area. The height from the CFBC also greatly affect the corn harvest. The higher the terrain will be, the longer the age of corn for the harvest. Harvest corn Metahelix